well, this is off topic, but I think it's so important to foster children's interests, especially when they are positive. Maybe you don't want to foster their interest if they're into, like, killing small animals, but...
That's... Wait, hold on. Try this one more time.
Guys, we got about 30 minutes to get the shop.
60. All right, I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay, well, I grew up sweeping floors. Like, my dad's a carpenter, woodworker. So I grew up on the job site, cleaning up shit. After that, I moved to Tokyo. I was like 14, and I was teaching someone English. I actually got fired from the first job doing that, but I learned. So I did that. Grew up traveling and overseas and not having a lot of stuff. Like, somehow, like, all the trash picking I did as a kid kind of enabled me to become a little bit collective with certain things. Yeah, for a certain amount of time, you know. It has its lifespan, and then I purge it and I baptize the house, and it's gone.
I'm kind of the opposite of Gabriel, actually. I grew up in one spot. I mean, he was moving around all his life, and I grew up South Dakota, raised there, and then when I wanted to go to college, that's when I left, and I went to Florida. I was lucky. I knew right what I wanted to do. I wanted to do video, and studied down there.
Like I said, I'd been playing a lot of music. I'd been recording a lot of my own music, and I thought that this is really cool. This is definitely something I want to do.
Pretty much all of college for me was like just immersing myself in video and learning how to make stuff, how to make videos, and how to do stuff like that, and partying.
I followed you down to Orlando to study recording arts.
And when Linsay came down, it really just, like, we tapped into each other's creativity, or I don't even think we knew what we were doing at the time, but we just, I don't know, it clicked. Something clicked.
They claim Sydney Falls' fall was an accident, and that we should let her rest in peace. Well, of course, these groups are mundane and boring, and they're nothing compared to what we caught at 6. News?
I am now standing at the very first grave of the infamous Sydney Falls.
And at the time, I didn't think that I could be a musician.
And that's like what my big kick is, and I think everyone needs to, like, figure it out, you know, what makes you feel alive.
I was looking at colleges, and I wanted to go to college in England. So for some crazy reason, I thought I really wanted to go to Oxford. So my grandfather told me that he has a cousin who lives in Oxford. So I flew to England, I visited relatives that I never met before, and it was just, it was the first time I knew I was home. I didn't get into Oxford, and I cried the whole way back.
Oh, a worm. This worm is gonna help our garden grow.
I was on this tour, you know, going around the country, you know, and one of the guys there was like, "Hey man, I just got this new camera. You wanna check it out and play with it?" And so he gave me a Canon 20D, because I didn't have to work during the show, and so I was kind of just taking pictures. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this."
Oh, there's something down there. I wonder what it is.
Probably rocks.
I wonder what it is.
Cable too.
My stuff is in storage someplace, and I don't really know where I'm going. So I moved to California. I'm like, I'm not really feeling this. kind of moping around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here. I need adventure. Everybody needs adventure, right?
The microphone.
So I called my buddy Jonathan, and we're like, okay, Brazil, St. Petersburg, China. I'm like, okay, China. We moved to China with about $1,000. We rent this killer art studio together, you know? It's like 2,000 square feet, 30-foot ceiling, skylights.
But the next time I went to England was during my semester abroad when I was a junior in college. And I studied at the University of York. And I was there for 6 months. And it just was the most calming, peaceful, wonderful time in my life. I had free time. I went dancing all the time. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I was there for 6 months. Really got to know the people, really got to know the culture, got addicted to the English soap operas. And again, I cried the whole flight back.
I got actually a job offer from one of my classmates to do video work as a cameraman, so
Then we moved to Washington, D.C.
and I started to work with the video company. Lindsay, she got a job at the Pottery Place and with a band.
And I decided, you know, I don't have my bachelor's degree. I want to get it. I'm going to get it in music education because I had a lot of experience teaching when I was at All Fired Up. And I really liked that. And UDC offered a program for music education.
Only gonna take 30 minutes instead of 2 hours. I love it.
Now I have to figure out the next key. And then I'm going to skip this one and skip that one and go down here. So up through 7 into 5. So you can try. So you're going to want to go up through 4,
Up through 4, down through
2.
And I came to AU because the other grad schools I was looking at were all like journalism programs, but AU had international media, and I knew I wanted something international in my life. I knew I wanted to get back to Europe. I knew I wanted something international.
And in China, you know, I really picked up. I started taking cool pictures, and then I started bringing on my trips. And so I bought some studio lights in China. It's really cheap, and I got this gig taking photos for this salon, but I never used the lights before, you know, and so I learned a lot and got paid for it. I did kind of a crappy job.
Gabriel is such an amazing artist, and I mean, you can see it because he puts his everything into everything. He puts all of his whole being, like, he is just passionate about doing stuff, and he loves teaching and creating, and that's why he's such a good artist.
So I taught English for a while, taught some kids. I was like, oh my gosh, they love this. I'm like their hero every day. I taught very little English, but I made them love school again.
I mean, we connect on a lot of ways, but this love of doing stuff and knowing, following your love and your passion, and that's what Lindsay's doing with following music education. That's what Leila's doing with the international communications, and it's just a really like clear connection point for all of us.
So I figured it out. I was like, okay, being with kids makes me feel alive. So I decided to come back here and study art education. So during the Obama inauguration, I moved back here, and